Hey, how you doing? This is Greg again, Gregory Musgrove Custom Guitars. Again, I'm working on a gas can here. I'm gonna make this into a little three-string guitar. So I showed you yesterday mainly about how to take off the handle, because I like to be able to have that standing like that. So today what I'm doing is I've got my neck. This is my neck. I still got to cut this fretboard off a little bit, but it's the right length to go through there. Then what I did is I have drawn found the center line for the box. I don't know if you can see that. I got the center line. Also have a center line up here. Put a center line on the bottom. That's you're going to need the center line later on the bottom. And then got the center line here. Took my humbucker. I'm going to use a humbucker. I've got a simple little humbucker cover, but what I've done is I found the center of that and I just laid it on there, traced out the inside, and came up with that little box there for the humbucker. On the top though, what I did is you need to have a center line on the bottom of your neck. Okay? So then I put that right there on the center line and just traced around the outside of it. No measuring or anything, but when I cut, I'm going to cut to the inside of that line because I want it to be smaller than needed so that whenever I force this through there, it is good and tight when I push it in there. Not enough to dent anything, but I want to do that. Now, it's important as you go cutting into these boxes. I've got this little tool here, and I've had several other Dremels. I've wore Dremels out. Some Dremels don't have a speed control. This one actually has a little foot thing down here. Let's see here. Pretty simple, but it's really nice not to have that whole thing up in your hand, and it always blows a lot of hot air. And so I like to have this, like this, just sitting here. And I can cut real easy with it. But you got to go slow, especially on these where there's paint or ink, whatever they use. You want to go slow because you could burn that, and it'll end up discoloring out from underneath of the thing. I know that. The other thing I did is, you can see I inserted a little piece of wood right here. This had a spout. Here it is. Really nasty, ugly looking spout. But I want to be able, since I'm going to use this as my front, this is going to be right where the strap button is going to be. So I'm going to have a strap button here, a strap button on that bottom where that center line is, because it's going to go right into the center line of this, so that it's going to be in the box straight. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. It makes a lot of noise, and I'll be right back to you. All right, so now I've got that done. What I've done is cut the hole out here, cut the humbucker out, so that's there. Now the knobs are going to be right here. Now, you know, the humbucker is going to be held in by, and I don't use plastic one, I use a metal one, hold it in there. Need a little bit of support. Same way here, I'll cut a small thin piece of walnut, shape it, put my two controllers here, come out the bottom with my 1/4 inch. But right now, what I have to do next, this is pretty much done. That humbucker, I got one right here, just so happens. So I'll show you real quick. Now I don't know if I'm going to use this one or whether I'm going to use all black one or maybe an all white one. I don't know, but it'll fit right in there. And it looks like I may have to do just a little bit of filing on it, but there you go. See, that'll go in there. Probably use this chrome humbucker cover on it. So, you know, there you go. What I got to do next is get this humbucker out of here. But what I want to show you is, at this point, that neck is not going to fit in there because I have I've on purposely made that small. It's not going to go in there. So what I need to do is I've got files, files, and files, and files. So what I need to do now is I'll get out all these little files here. I got a little corner one here, and here, and I'm just going to start filing on this thing and go slow. Make sure it's squared up. You don't want to get it in there cocked at the wrong angle. And we'll just get this thing filed up. And then, you know, it's just pretty simple. Again, you probably can't see it, but I got my towel here. Some people like to put carpeting down, but I like to take this thing out and shake it out real good when I get done with something like this, because it may have some metal filings in here. So I'm just going to file this down here now. Get it to where that will fit in there. Now I still got my lines. I don't know if you can see them, but I still got my lines, so I know exactly about where I need to get to in this filing process. But it doesn't take a whole lot. Excuse me. I mean, it's just you can't get around it. It makes noise. If you got a problem, you may want to wear some earplugs or ear protection when you go filing on this stuff, because it can get pretty loud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right now, and then I'll come back to you and show you as I fit that in, because I've done the same thing with this. This is longer than it needs to be. So once I get it to fit in there, and I'm going to cut this off, I'll go ahead and do that while I'm away. And then I'll come back and show you how that fits in there and how we're going to be able to get that to where it's lined up and it's fitting in there properly. All right, so now what I've got finished now is I've got my gas can. Okay, I've got the hole in the top. That marked the center on the bottom. That's going to be important later, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole right here. Then, which I don't have because I sanded it off, but I'll have a center line on this, and then I'll be able to see that center line through the hole I'm going to drill down there, and that's where I'm going to put the strap button. That'll make sure that neck is inserted in there exactly straight up and down. One of the first ones I did, I had a big square, and it was crazy. And then I figured out, well, there's got to be an easier way. So here's what I did is when I inserted that in, I don't know, you probably can't see it, but there's a line right here now. Well, I had about 1/4 of an inch that I needed to sand off the bottom, so I just took it over to my sander. See it right there, and it's got a square on it, so I just kept going around and sanding until I got that down to where when I insert it, and like I said, you want that to be tight. And now that's all the way to the bottom. Wiggles a little bit, but see, that's going to straighten out when I put that screw in the strap button on the bottom. All right, so as you can see, it fits in there real nice and snug. There's really no spaces in there. You don't have to worry about it. I will put a couple screws right here. Of course, I'm going to have my bridge down here. It's going to be screwed into the neck, which is another whole unique issue, because as you know, these fully adjustable 3-string bridges, they're a little wider than 1.5 inches. So you got to come in here and glue in about 1/4 of an inch on both sides, right down in this area. And I'll show you how to do that later. It's not hard. It's just you got to get it, and you just got to do it. I mean, it's just no way around it. But what I got to do right now, as you can see, that neck is right up against. It's going to be right up against the front of this, and I need to mark that so I can cut out, excuse me, for my humbucker. So all I'm going to do now is just trace that hole straight across. Oh, see, it's in there tight, and that's what you want. Just take your time when you're filing it. Get it nice and tight. All right, there we go. See, I got 2 lines right there. So what I'll do is I'll run that through my bandsaw, a square. Hopefully y'all have a nice little engineer square, machinist square, whatever you want to call it. I'll mark that about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more on both sides of that hole that I just cut, so that I have a little bit of play in there. And then I'll, you know, a very simple measurement. I mean, this is real scientific, isn't it? Put it like that, figuring up where your fretboard is. You don't want to go any higher on your fretboard, and we mark it. So let's use my scientific instrument here, and I'm just going to go straight across. All right. So now I've got the width, the depth of it. I'll take it over to the bandsaw, cut that out. That way it'll be inserted in there. You're probably asking the question probably is, all right, well, that's all good, but how do you get the electronics in there? Especially after I glue the wings on, this neck is going to be inside here like that, and I've got to put that humbucker in right there, put my 2 things here in my pots. If any of you has worked very much with a semi-hollow body guitar, then you're going to have hemostats, big hemostats. Okay, with these I can reach inside there and I can put all those pieces. It'll all be already pre-wired, and I can put all those pieces in there. I can have everything sitting there all ready to go, screwed down. Put that in there, screw it down, and then I'll be able to put in my my bridge. And that'll be the last thing that I do, is put in the bridge. I never put in the humbucker cover. I don't seal it up until I have all the strings on. I put the 3 strings on. That way I can make sure I got a little bit of play. I can make sure that that is centered on that center string. Because one of the hardest things to do, or one of the most frustrating things I should say, is that when you get all done and you put your line, you put your middle string on, and it doesn't go down the middle of your frets. It's like, oh man, I can't believe I just did that. But there's ways of doing it. If you do it the way I do it anyhow, the dots are all very centered, and then it doesn't matter. I got a little bit of leeway down here with the bridge, and then I can make that line go straight down the middle of all those, and then sink in the bridge, so that everything's lined up, everything's perfect, everything is going to fit. So that's where I'm at right now. Let's put the cap back on again. That's where the other strap button's going to go. It's right here. So there you go. If I can help out anybody, let me know in the comments, or send me a quick text message. You can get over to me at GregoryMusgrove.com, and I'll be glad to try to answer anything that I can. Thank you for viewing.